Coming up next on Access LaPorte County, the April 4th, 2022 meeting of the Long Beach Community Center Committee. You can find more information for this meeting on www.accesslaportecounty.org.
If you need to see whoever's speaking, please let us know and I'll swivel this around. Otherwise, I'm going to aim it at roughly at Joe.
Oh, man, that'll kill. That'll chase everybody away.
Just for information, here's who's in the meeting right now.
Maybe everybody introduce yourselves.
Okay. Melanie Davis is here.
Joy Schmidt's here. Lori Alaska.
Larry Brown. Joe Jagman. Doug Wickstrom.
And me.
Can I just compliment you all on how nice that room looks?
Yes, you can. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We take all the compliments we can get. So what we're doing is we're just chatting about the tenants of the building. That we got a new tenant starting April 1st. And that's Brenda McKnight. And she's a artiste with, how do you say it?
Fabric.
She's an artiste with fabric. And she makes kind of nice, unusual stuff, I guess, whatever the right word is, with hats and things like that. She had an operation or has an operation in Michigan City, and she was just dying to get over here to Long Beach. And last comment I'll make, when we got in the room and then we pulled the blinds down, she was just ecstatic because the golf course is right there. It's just a very picturesque view of everything. So it's just super. So, and then
Hey, Joe, question.
Pardon?
Question for you. Does Tim Clerk Perry, does he have all the information to get out the monthly rental invoice and all that? I know it's changing of
I'm
the clerk.
I'm working on that with Deanna right now.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
And so that's that. And then also we mentioned that we have a newer tenant that I think maybe she started last month.
About a month ago.
Yeah. And that's Elizabeth, and she does, Joy?
Reform.
She does Reform Pilates.
It's called Reformer Pilates.
Okay, thank you. And
You're welcome.
Anita, if you have anything to share, because I know you've gone once or twice.
I've gone 4 or 5 times now. She's wonderful. Beyond wonderful. Highly recommend her.
Good. So those are the things that we're adding. If everything stays status quo, we only have one more room or rooms because it's actually the old president's office.
Principal.
The president. He probably acted like it, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
And which rooms are those, Joe?
The principal's office is,
In front?
if you walk through those 3 doors, the 3 big doors, there's 3 front doors.
Yeah.
And if you walk through the middle one and you just went straight,
That one.
you
Okay.
ran right into it. I think it's room 14. And the reason I say it's one room that you would rent, but it's where, what was the first one, Joe? You were in there all the time.
Yeah, it was the principal's office and the nurse's office.
Oh, so the first office was like a waiting room?
Yeah, that's where you sat,
Okay.
waiting to see Mr. Steele.
When you were bad?
And off to the side was the nurse's office.
Okay, then there was nurse's
I
office.
never was in there.
To the side, and his office was straight back.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's
Yeah.
made up of 3 offices. I don't know exactly.
Didn't Sue Bissing express an interest in that space?
She did, but I'm still waiting. She's. I think years ago she might have been in. Sue Bissing, everybody knows, is the what does she have all the time?
Girlfriend sale?
Girlfriend sales, right? And while we brought that up, I believe she's planning on May I believe, don't hold me to it, we'll have to get some numbers from her, for her first sale. And, just trying to think around the corner, that's about it. So, while we're talking about people, I think, we have activities happening here, which I think are good. Right now, across the hall, we have a woman that's instructing Irish dance. I was surprised when we got here that they weren't here. The Mahjong people play, there's a Mahjong group that plays on Monday in room 12. There's another Mahjong group that comes, I believe, on Thursdays. And they play here. There's a group that plays ping pong. There's pickleball. Seems very active. There's tons of people that are doing that.
There's a turn it up class on Saturday.
And then there's thank you. There's the turn up class on Saturday. And then there's one other, what's the other one?
First Saturday art class.
Yeah, and then the other one, because isn't there
And there's
two?
a Tai Chi is starting to start up again.
And the Tai Chi is gonna start again.
Mhm.
So, and then we have, people come just to play basketball. So, we've been pretty,
In pickleball, right?
Yeah, pickleball and basketball. And, so we've been pretty active. I think it's worked out good.
I've got a question.
Sure.
I'm wondering, so I have probably a lot of questions since I'm new. And so if it's reinventing the wheel, let me know. But I'm wondering if all of these activities are available to anyone and everyone, or if there's something, when somebody comes to us to ask for room to be able to do whatever, how do we decide, yes, it's okay, oh no, it's being used, oh gee, it's for just a few select people, oh, it's open to everybody? I mean, how do we know?
Okay, you hit all.
A lot of questions.
No, it's fine, but you hit everything.
Yeah.
Is that example?
Yep.
I believe that the Mahjong people, I believe they're open for more players.
That's
now-
my understanding also, that it's just
No.
whoever wants to come, come.
Now they're open for more players. The ping pong, but when those guys play, they're looking for more players. So in those two groups, for example, now the pickleball, I don't know, it's a pretty large group. I think there's about 10 of them. And, okay, let me stop and try to answer your other question as I'm doing this.
Okay.
Okay, ping pong has to be played in room 10. Because that's where we have 3 ping pong tables. We don't have tables anyplace else. So that's in room 10. And they play, I'd have to look at it again, but I think they come and play a couple nights a week. And I think they're always looking for extras now. But just talking about one room in particular for now, the Y has the keys for the ping pong room. And if somebody would come, to play ping pong during the afternoon or whatever, they would just go to the Y. And I believe, and I have to go over everything, we have to review our rules. I believe they'd have to have somebody in there that's 18.
Yes.
That's what?
18.
Oh, 18. So it's,
Wait,
from Long Beach, right?
right,
That's the Long Beach resident.
right.
oh. And those are our requirements or their requirements?
What do you mean there?
Our requirement.
Our requirements. The center. The center's requirements, okay.
Right. That's what because we have found, believe it or not, that one time I was in there and we leave out some paddles and ping pong balls for people to play. One time I was in there, all the ping pong paddles were broken.
Oh.
And it's just you don't think so, but leave kids alone, anything can happen. It's real simple. So we take an adult should be there. Sure. Okay, so that's like the ping pong, they can come and sign up and they can go there. Give an example, let's just say Doug, also basketball. If you want to play basketball, you can come and play basketball, but there are different slots that are signed in already that people have. There's a group that has a certain time to play pickleball and a couple of groups. And that also is, okay, if there's nobody signed in to play pickleball, or if somebody happens to be playing when you get there, I think we said an hour that they could say, okay, those people could finish, but then we could have it for an hour. Again, which we had the experience the other day, Doug and I, there's wonderful people that all of a sudden the father came with the little ones, not little, but they might have been, 13, 14 at best. And he's leaving them. That's, that didn't go over very good. But anyway, so again, we explained to him that he had to be 18. Whatever. So
Yeah.
that's, so I'm trying to go over.
And does the Y maintain a schedule? I mean, do they maintain a monthly schedule at the desk in the Y?
And I should, there's a, which we haven't met, but I'll email one. We have a calendar.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
We have a calendar that shows things that are on. And I know as a practice, a lot of people call the Y and just say, is it available? What's going on?
So the Y oversees that,
Overseas what now?
the schedule,
Yes.
the monthly schedule, the Y oversees.
Let me explain something else to you. What our relationship with the Y is, number one, basic. First premise, number one. The building is closed if the Y closes.
Right.
That's number one.
Yeah.
So the Y helps us oversee the building to a point. Okay? And then the Y has the majority, I hate to use the word all, but the majority of keys in the building. I don't know which
I would
one.
say the majority.
Yeah, I don't know which ones you don't have.
Maybe at most of those.
Yeah. They have the majority keys to the building. So if somebody wants to use a room that's not on a schedule or has not been planned, like, the other thing I was thinking, I just saw in this room, there's Girl Scouts come, and then there's Boy Scouts that go in the gym. But if it's not scheduled and you want to use a room, you go to the Y and you explain what you need, and then the Y would give them a key and have them access.
And you've met Lori? Have you met Lori?
Just introduce
Yeah.
yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, I
I'm
have.
sorry, I was going through
Yeah,
that.
thank you. I met somebody else when I was with you all. Who
Yeah,
was
that's the
Y.
person at Angie, that was the person at the desk.
Right.
It might, I don't think it was, I think it was Angie.
Yes.
I think it was too. Yeah.
So.
And Lori is the director of the county Y, but
Yeah.
So in my world, and everybody has different opinions and stuff like that, I've always wanted to be in sync with the Y because I think they help us, we help them, and we work together.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much, did I answer all your questions?
Yeah.
What other question did you have?
Well, I'm just, one of my wonders, let's call it that, one of the questions, I guess it would be that you mentioned a couple of times that they are looking for more players. The ping pong guys are looking for more players. It could be that the Y is looking for more. I wonder if we, we now, I guess, not you, we, what vehicle we have for communication to the broader constituency out there so that people know, like, as I walked around with you all, you two, I didn't know the ping pong was here. I think probably a number of people don't know that we have reformer Pilates. So I'm coming from the point of view of wondering if we have an opportunity to communicate. I mean, if there's a capacity, if we're going, no, we're a relatively small place, we can only handle X amount, or if we are trying, among other things, to generate more interest.
Now,
Yep, that's it.
okay.
That's it.
I also should say that of the activities that are in the building,
Yeah.
some of the activities are for profit and some of the activities are not for profit.
Right.
And I've always thought that in whatever everybody else thinks, and I should shut up and you guys should do more talking.
You're doing great.
But where if these people are renting it and they're making money and that's their business, God love them.
Yeah.
It's their business. We're glad they're here. We're happy with them, but we don't interfere with their business, plus or minus.
Right.
And in general,
Yeah.
I'll jump in and give us as an example. We're tenants technically, but as Joe said, we worked out a wonderful relationship. We had a discounted rent. We're kind of the building operators. Like I said, we're just kind of keepers. So, but for our programs, right now we don't have an instructor roster, but when we had like a fitness instructor, that was all on us to advertise. You know, whether it's through our Facebook page, social media, flyers, mailings, that does fall within us to promote and market our programs and our work.
That's a very good point.
because,
That's a very good point,
because now
really. Yeah.
agreeing with that, but just nudging along, I've always said to myself, my wife, and I might have said to my wife, but she doesn't listen either. So, that it would be wonderful. I was always super impressed that if I looked at the tenants that we had Julie, massage lady. We have Sue Bissing, sales, whatever. We had Amy, exercise, and we had Laura Lee, yoga, okay? And I didn't even count you,
Yeah.
These are the tenants in the building. I said, you know, and everybody's looking for putting ads in the paper and feature and all that stuff. I said, geez, that's really something, isn't it? That here we are, wonderful women, entrepreneurs that are working in Long Beach and doing one fine job, and everybody's thrilled with their services. They should get together and just put an ad in a feature or something to say about that. And that's all I was saying. And now, even so, even though we lost Julie with the massage,
Yeah.
and we lost Amy, but now we got Brenda, and now we got Elizabeth. So it's just to me, it's, you know, and then I'm not shorting Mr. Dieter, but I'm just saying I'm picking on the.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the sex.
Yeah.
That I think is wonderful. Now, your point, I don't know what you guys think. Maybe we should say, you know, is that something we should advertise? I don't know.
I'm not sure about the advertisement, but, you know, we should probably have a list of the tenants. I mean, I don't even know everybody that's coming in here. If there was like a bulletin board or something that, you know, was behind a glass screen and said, okay, you know, room X is somebody, or, you know, room 12 is going to be, you know, meeting room or something like that. And then for the other places, whether they be, you know, someone that's paying money or somebody that's actual, you know, on the volunteer side, you know, like the park department, there should be like maybe a name with a contact phone number. So if somebody's interested in playing pickleball, they can get a hold of, you know, John Doe or Jane Doe, whatever, with the phone number. I mean, that's, does that ever come up, or does that sound like something that could be done, or, somebody has to take care of it, of course, and,
And keep it
that's an
current.
issue.
Generally, I think if somebody doesn't know and they want to find out, the first thing they do is they call the town center. And they talk to Deanna or they talk to the Y.
But again, who knows what's here? I mean, we know now of, 2 extra, like,
Well, the park board on their Facebook page advertises all their activities and on the town website.
And the park board has their activities and they rent both the historical center and the ping pong room. I mean, they're tenants in that regard. I mean, the only rooms that we have that are open to be scheduled are this room, the room across the hall, the gym, and the courtyard room.
Right.
Those are the rooms that are not taken by somebody.
But that's kind of,
And partly to address, I mean, we do have a system of signage that kind of fell apart this winter. It blew down out on the sign on the front of the outside in the site. And then we have a signs on the doorway. But it's a reasonable to say that we don't have a directory anywhere to say where the tenants are and so forth. And so that's something might make sense to do, yeah.
but the question, and I think it's a great idea, but where do we publish the directory?
Well, put it on the wall when you walk
Or
in,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
Okay, then,
Yeah,
I mean,
when
do
you
we
walk
know?
in a public building, there's a directory, room 4 is this and so forth. Yeah, we don't have anything quite like that and we could, yeah.
even with
Yeah.
the building, like, room chart, that would be out there, like, so like if,
Now, we do have, all of the rooms have a plan in them. And so,
but you're missing my point on that, would be like, okay, if you come in the door and it's your first time here, and let's say you wanted to go back to room 7, which now has a new, a new tenant in there. And you're wondering, okay, well, where is room 7? I mean, even like the Irish food that's right across the way here, I mean, that, maybe it's up there.
room 7. So, I mean, we've updated that, but we do have a plan that has all the current room numbers on it. So,
Okay,
but we don't have
I'll
it.
look more often.
Yeah, well, we don't have it posted in the hallway with current tenants. I mean, we could have a directory sign and I mean, that's a
All
reason,
you need
that's,
is like that plus,
right.
the room number so that, somebody that comes in and said, okay, room 7 is like back around this corner. I mean, this place is not all that big, but,
but I think, I agree with you, Larry, that I think that, again, there's an opportunity there.
Sure.
For, again, people who are new to the community, who are interested in just checking out what is here. And I think a lot of people probably come in the building just to kind of get acquainted, right? Just to, so what's here and what's going on? And, oh, this is what it looks like and all of that. To have, I don't know if we have a prescribed room number system, do we?
yes.
On the doors?
Yes.
Oh, do we?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So, just that and some kind of a directory, I think would be a step in the right direction.
Mhm.
I think that would be nice.
All right, if
All
you
right,
don't mind.
look into it, Melanie.
Think about it. Let's
Sure.
figure out what a good
Okay.
approach would be.
Okay,
get yourself a new job.
I know. Well, you're my co-conspirator
I'm
here.
hanging for you.
All right, all right. Well, that's good.
I mean, we have the plan, and if you list the rooms, there'll be less than 20 names on it, so it's.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
No, it's definitely doable.
Yeah, good.
Now, which is great. And just so you know, and I think it's us, Larry, Joe, and Doug, I thought one of us were gonna do it, is that those signs, there are signs, there's still, I don't know if I think I mentioned it to you too. Those signs are in room 3, that we need those goofy hooks. And we never got the damn hooks, that's why YMCA sign isn't up. And there was another sign, I can't remember who
There
it was.
was, I can't remember what it was either.
That might have been Amy, but.
Amy,
she
The
didn't.
exterior village sign.
So, all right, well, then, I was gonna bring up another topic, but maybe I'll just, either way, first of all, I mean, are there other things, you know, that you said, anybody else? I don't want to monopolize it, we just, you know, it's just a free-for-all, whatever we're doing. All right, well, let me get into this topic, and I don't know how conversation there'll be. All right, so what we just discussed, which fit right in, is there are different activities that are happening around here. Okay, and we do have, like Doug said, we've probably got 4 facilities that aren't booked all the time. You know, the courtyard room, I think you saw the courtyard
The
room.
big room, that big room?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where, what's her name uses it a lot, Sue Bissing for her clothes.
Right.
But other times, then this room, and then that room, which, room 13, this is room 12, and room 13, which is turning out to be a nice room. And then, what room is it called?
Multi-purpose room.
And then we have the multi-purpose.
Which one is that?
The gym. They won't let us call it a gym.
They won't? Why?
These two.
Because me.
It's not, you could never have anybody really play serious basketball. They kill themselves.
Is that right?
Oh, it's just so small. It is.
It's really small.
And the walls are there and everything else. So you hate to say, we have a gym. We don't have a gym, we have a multi-purpose room.
I see.
Which is what, they could possibly shoot some hoops, they could play pickleball, etc. Now, that gets into, I just wanted to mention those rooms, but it's mostly the variety room. I can't. Where now it comes up, the idea prior to, and I guess things just changed because of the virus and everything, and we never had much going on. But now, one other thing that Bill liked, Bill Defuniak, when I say Bill, I think everybody, that Bill liked, and I agreed with him at the time, and what we always said with the history here, we just wanted to keep the door open. And we wanted to do whatever we could do and try to find out how much money, where we can get the money and keep the place budget-wise and physically afloat. And then what we did is, or Bill, and I think they did that even prior to us, but if you had a funeral or something like that, say, hey, can I rent the gym, the multi-purpose room
Yeah.
for the funeral? I have a something else and something, okay. So it sounds good. I was thinking about this and then, well, I won't even say my opinion. So what do you guys think about renting the space for those kind of activities? And it could range from, you know, a very somber group or a very boisterous group where they would have alcohol and music or whatever. It just open up. I'm just open. What do you guys think about that? Does anybody want to start?
Just for Melanie's sake, you can't have alcohol
I was
unless you
gonna
have
ask.
a police or a licensed bartender attending the party.
That's state law.
Say that again, you can't have alcohol.
You have to either have the police in attendance or you need a licensed bartender in attendance.
If you're going to serve
Joy?
alcohol. But you can serve alcohol in the building.
Yeah, Joy, the only thing I thought that was an and not an or. I thought they had to be both.
I don't think so.
Because the bartender isn't gonna handle what the policeman will do.
But if people just bring in, a couple of cases of beer, they can't drink that beer unless the cop is here, but nobody's gonna sell it to them.
Right.
So they wouldn't need a bartender.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, it's driven by state law.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it is, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and we won't get into history on that too. There's been situations because there's signs on the refrigerator that say no alcohol and stuff like that. And I put that on there for a special reason, but we're not going to get into that. All right,
I don't
so,
have a problem with renting that space. I mean, we've always done it.
okay, so you think
That's
it's a
my
good
opinion.
idea?
Yeah, I think it's a.
I agree with that. I think that's what it's for.
I thought that was kind of like what it's been doing. So it's, you know, we're not reinventing anything on that.
Well, the only reason, like I said, Larry, we haven't done anything because of COVID. We couldn't have a large group and stuff like that.
Life's getting a little bit more back towards normal now, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Rules would have changed.
Yeah, and it could fit very nicely in, again, if we are thinking about some manner of communication, some manner of letting people know what does take place here.
That is on the town website.
Well, but I understand that, but I think we need them. That would be my thought. And I think some sort of to Larry's point, some sort of a roster of who's in the building is a great step, and that falls in that category of communication, letting people know what is taking place here, and having people feel really good about it. So I guess I would say, you know, however we define it, if it's sort of like, hey, this space is available for social activity, whatever that social activity might be, or
So how
are
would
we
we communicate?
confined? Well, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about
We don't
that.
have a budget, that's the big thing.
Yep, I understand.
Well, you can
So
always get the Beecher to run an article.
either that, or maybe it could be the Beecher does a lot of very nice things, it seems to me, and I don't know if the bowlers and the golfers and all the people who are reporting their scores are paying for that, or if that's just something that the Beecher does. If there is some kind of way through the Beecher or otherwise, for no money, or for very nominal money, to say, you know, here's what's happening at the community center.
I used to run a neighborhood race, like a running race,
Sure.
and we ran it for years and years and years, and that was something that, you know, my partner and I, we paid for our, you know, let's say the
Publicity?
to get everything going. Now, occasionally they would run an article that would happen after the race, because it was like something that was timely that happened in Long Beach and Dunlin Beach and Michiana Shores, both Michigan and Indiana. So that was all good, but I'm thinking that you'd probably have to put some money into it to put something out there, unless you had some kind of an article that was going to come up with, like, the new idea that's coming up. Okay, like if there's something that happens with the town center now, that you can talk, you know, one of the writers into putting in there as like a big, you know, like the art stuff that they do in the summer. I mean, I think there's an article that comes out with that, you know, but it's after the effect. It's not prior to.
Yeah.
There's why they like ran some articles from Michigan City highlighting a long-term number, but we might put the idea out there to them, and then they tell us if and when they're interested in it.
Yeah.
So that's free, but then if we want to put ads, say for help wanted or promoting, then we pay.
I know Don Montgomery. I could talk with him and ask him.
Yeah.
If that's something they'd like,
I let everybody,
because they're always looking for a good story.
all right, I'm getting, and again, I guess I don't have a problem being the contrarian, which I'm real good at.
That's
You
so
relish it.
unusual.
Now, let me ask the question. Okay, examples. I'll just choose pickleball, for example. Pickleball plays on Saturdays, every Saturday from 9 to 11. So now I want to have the gym starting at 9 o'clock for my funeral, and I got to set it up and stuff like that. So does the rental of the room supersede somebody that's using the activity on a basis?
That was our rule in the past.
Well, I know.
Why would we change any rules? I mean,
Well, nothing's a rule, but that was a procedure.
Well, it's sort of like a contract or an understanding with whoever is using the space, that here are the occasions where we might have to let you know that that Saturday is not going to be available because of blah, blah, blah.
And that's what we've done, and it sounds like, okay, because I don't agree with that, but it's not me, and that's fine with me. If you think, I just think, I don't know which is more important to me. I look at, if somebody's coming every week or supporting, and, you know, they're getting worth out of it, don't get me wrong. They're getting to use the facility, but they're supporting the building too.
Sure.
By being here all the time.
Yeah, but having to not be here one Saturday, is that?
Well, but the, you know, the biggest issue is that I don't have data, just memory. I mean, Saturdays are the time that they want to rent the
Okay,
space.
well, I wouldn't want to have to say to people, okay, you can't ever rent the gym on Saturday mornings. That's out because we've already told someone forevermore they can play there. I don't think that's what we, just personally.
I think that it's hard to make like a hip shot decision on all of these kinds of things. It seems to me that from a communication standpoint, or also from this instance, we kind of need to roll up, what is our strategy? Is our strategy that we want to jack up what income this place can generate? Are we trying to create goodwill in the community? What is our overriding? Because if we're held accountable as a group for any kind of money that's coming in, or is that just incidental? I don't know.
It's just incidental or it has been.
Yeah, so I mean, in a
It's not that
situation
much
like
money.
this,
You could rent the gym all morning for $50 if there was. It's not like you get a lot of revenue from
And is this technically nonprofit, the building?
It's owned by the town.
No.
And technically, the town is nonprofit, I guess.
yeah.
So, but let me ask the practical questions. And maybe things will change. But right now, and I don't know, you always said, I meant to always tell you this, I don't know why my memory is so bad, and then you got me going nuts every time I think about it. Friday or Saturday, now wait a minute, which closes at 4 and which closes at 4:30? I can't
honestly
These
can't
things
tell you
be
myself right now because of the different hours we have, you know, because of COVID, not COVID, you know, but.
But like I said,
I think if I had to guess, it's 4:30 on Friday, 4 on Saturday.
I said, why don't they just have it the same time, either one? I don't care which it is. But anyway, but now getting back to my statement a long time ago about the relationship with the Y is, okay, so they want to rent the building today from 1 till 9 o'clock at night. Okay? How do we, the building is closed technically at 4:30. What is going to supervise the activity?
That has to be determined.
I mean, those are the
Yeah,
type
those
of
are,
questions,
absolutely.
those are the type of questions I'm concerned about. And the other, and anything is solvable.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying it's not,
Right.
but do we want to make sure we prepare for whatever the situations might be?
And again, I think it has to be thought out in terms of what do we want? If we know what we want and we know what our priorities are, then we can do whatever needs to be done. I don't know. I don't know the answer to, you know, who's going to be here during hours if we're extending for whatever reason. Maybe we don't want to do it at all. I don't know.
Because, you know, and then the other thing is, do we, and these are all questions, and I don't know how, do we delineate what we can or can't rent it for? All of those things. I don't know.
What is the capacity of the room? Do we know that?
Yes.
Do we know that?
Yeah, we know how many doors there are, and we know that you can get 300 people in there, so.
Really?
Well, in terms of exiting.
Okay.
I'm not saying it would be comfortable, but
Yeah.
You see, and then what happened, again,
Don't go to Doug's party.
I'm not going. Okay, I'll
But
write that down here.
when you say capacity of the room, I mean, there's a number of different ways to calculate it, but the one that defaults to is in terms of exiting,
Yeah,
you know. And if you see where it says, here's the capacity of the room, usually that's related to how many exits there are, where they're located, and how wide they are, and so forth. Now, you can calculate the capacity also based upon an assumed number of people occupying every square foot or number of square footage for each person. But usually that's not the limiting factor, and usually the exits are, so.
and can we arbitrarily establish what we think is the capacity for the room for such an event?
Sure, we could do that on top of it, but, I mean, legally,
Yeah.
where is the benchmark? That's what the benchmark is. We do have a mission statement.
Yeah.
That we have accepted, which is our goal, which doesn't say anything about profit in it and so forth. And we do have a set of procedures that we've used in the past that may not be complete, but it does address most of these kinds of situations. And you're really suggesting we should revisit all of that or
I
go back to it?
think if we want to do this, I definitely think we have to, because I'm always the one being the high school teacher.
Yeah.
And leaving people alone. I mean, I'm just concerned, and I'm not against anything, but I'm just concerned that there's proper supervision. And the other shortcoming that we have is the amount of parking spaces.
Yeah.
And how that interferes with the people that are renting the space. Hypothetically, for example, on a Saturday, where Sue Bissing has one of her sales, and we can't tell her she can't have a sale. She has a sale, and there wouldn't be any conflict, because the people would be in the gym, but where would all the cars go? I don't know how hard it is right now with Sue Bissing's parking. I mean, I think they're practical issues, and those are the things that burden me. I don't have a concern either way. I just want to make sure we have everything in the road. So I don't want to say that I'll be here and lock up at 9:00 or anybody else. And I'm not going to supervise and make sure that, and we tried one time, I think you saw them, I don't know if you guys we have those gates that come out on the, and
Those are for the election. We did that for the election, trying to keep people from wandering.
And I forget what the occasion was, but we pulled one out, and I ended up, I think Doug was with me, if I'm not mistaken, Doug, and I think it was that gate right there, and I locked the gate.
It's kind of like,
I'm standing there saying, what are we gonna do now? How do we open this?
Did you lock
thing?
yourself in?
How do we open this damn thing? Well, I mean, it's the gate that goes on either side.
Yeah.
Now people won't be able to cross it or anything else, but at least Doug had the sightfulness to see that he figured it out. So we got it open. So anyway, I mean, those are the issues that I have. And and again, I'm all for goodwill, but anyway, I'll stop. I'm not gonna say my thing, but that's all the answers I think we gotta come up with.
Yeah.
Is how we're gonna do it, how do we decide, what if you get two people that wanna do it at the same time, who's more important than that? Because a lot of these things, like for example, Bill and I used to ramble through this stuff for these rentals in the past. That's how
What kind of rentals have we had?
we've had from A to Z, I guess.
Have we?
We've had dances.
Oh,
wedding receptions.
Yeah.
oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've had different things because,
Funerals.
yeah, funerals, because there's one right now that, I don't have it with me, that I saw, what do you call it? Maybe not, what do you do after the funeral is called, whatever it's called.
Awake.
A wake, but
I think
usually, no, a wake is when the person's still around, right?
Right,
The body, the body, I mean, the body is still.
Oh, I think they call it a lunch.
A luncheon or something like that, or a dinner,
Yeah.
or a blow up, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's all that's all my concern is. I mean, to me right now, because I really believe, and give everybody credit, I think, like we said, we've got most of the rooms full. We're doing pretty good. I think financially, we're doing okay. Now, this money that we get for the parties is not gonna make a difference anyway.
Yeah, and it doesn't go into a fund that's associated with this building anyway.
It's like, I think it might have, I forgot, we have a list. I think, Joey, do you remember that? Was it 100 or 200? If you were a tenant, if you
I think
were
it's
a
$50 if you're a
resident.
resident, and $100 if you're a non-resident.
We should,
Okay,
we
that
should
was
dig
First
out.
hour, and then I think additional hours, you add $20.
Or we had the bigger one where we did a flat 100 or 200.
We should dig that out and share it with everybody, Joe.
And then, we should also, the next meeting, since we'll be with us, next meeting, I'll definitely, or you remember Doug or somebody, we should get them, I think we handed them out a long time ago, mission statements. And I'll bring we'll hand out a calendar
Great.
that everybody can see. And then, I don't know if you want to bring your gas and electric.
I need more bills, Joe.
Okay. Let's go to you. Yes. The next go bills.
What I chart are monthly NIPSCO expenditures every month, and we have a history of it. And so Joy gets them from the town, and then I put them in a spreadsheet, and we plot it, and we usually look at those. So, yeah, or I send an email around so you can see it. It's a little bit of,
You were installing LED lights?
yeah, we were keeping track of it. Now they're all here, and so we were looking to see that. Now we have new boilers. We'll see if that'll be next year before we'll find out if that made a difference.
Yeah, now we got to turn on the air conditioning one of these days.
Yes.
And we'll see what fun that brings. And,
Is that completely separate from the boiler?
No.
Is part of,
Well, it's not completely separate.
it's that big room, the big thing outside.
There is a cooling tower that we have to activate.
And then the water flow. So anyway, can we, what do you guys suggest? I mean, you want to just say, yes, we should have parties, or?
I think we should get a copy of our current procedures, and so everybody can see them, and we can review them, and you can digest them, and then we can talk about it.
I agree. I think I have them
Otherwise,
all digital, so I'll send those out to everybody.
Good. And then, the last thing, I don't want to, be anything for Gavin, but
I have
Does
one
any-
thing.
pardon?
I have one thing.
Okay, good.
No?
Bring it up.
Bricks. Yeah.
Oh.
I was gonna ask about.
Bricks, yeah. I went to South Bend and I picked up the two that were waiting there, and then we've got another one there on board. And yes, indeed, they will ship them over to Chesterton.
Okay.
So I don't have to drive to South Bend next time, but, we are the ones who will have to install them, however. And, I don't know what you use, is there some kind of tool that you pick those bricks up that are out there with? Because you just pick up 2 bricks out there and drop this brick in.
That's usually what happens, and then, if they're like set in there nice and loose, it probably should be just like, packed sand around it, or, some kind of a, filling that's been like put in over it, swept in to hold them in tight. If that's the case, there's no mortar, then all you do is just go around and, just kind of like dig that out, and then pull up a piece, put in your new piece, if it fits into that hole, and then just sprinkle more, like a bedding sand around that, sweep it in, and
Okay,
make
there's
sure.
no mortar in there.
Right.
And then in 2 weeks or so, go back down and add some more sand. You know, as it, it back down and it tightens up again.
Okay.
So it's gonna be like, it'll take you a half hour or so to do 3 or 4 of them. maybe.
I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm.
Do we have a spot? I thought that looked kind of full out there.
No, there's a lot of
Yeah, there's a
space
lot of
out
blank
there
ones.
that
Oh,
doesn't
there-
have any names on it, yeah.
Oh, you mean they just have, oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of them, they're just
Oh.
plain bricks.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, so the plain bricks are just saving a spot
Right,
for the new guy.
right.
How much is a brick?
The big ones are 150 and the small ones are 75, I think. And the money goes to the paving center. So I'll be selling those in our
Wherever that
market
goes.
part.
I don't know where it goes. I thought she was putting, Debbie, I thought it was going to Debbie.
I talked to Deanna about it, no, it just gets, goes for the community center. And Debbie used to have, well, it was like Debbie's friend's brother's uncle's neighbor to, install them.
Who's Debbie?
Debbie, her dad actually was Mr.
principal.
Steele, the principal at this school.
Oh, the one who has the historical
Right.
rooms?
Right,
That's Debbie.
it's Debbie someone.
What are, again, the prices, 175, did you say?
150 for the large one. And I'll send you a copy of the form too, if I can find it. But they have forms at the clerk's office, and 75 for the small one.
If you do one, you're gonna find it's really easy to put those in. So since it's so easy, I'd even help you.
Okay.
Wait a minute, you're helping me on the,
Well, I know, you're gonna, because I'm anticipating that there'll be a bulletin board with, places for 4 tacks.
okay, all right, yeah, that's not huge.
Well, these guys have me working all the time, Tater's not
Yeah.
on back, so.
Well, you got a big hole to fill up. You were gone during the winter time.
Well, no, you guys are up there taking care of it.
Payback time, yeah.
What was it, 20 minutes this morning? Was that your time clock yet? I didn't get your time clock.
Well, let's just put it this way. Of all the people in this room at the moment, there's only 3 people that have really been working really hard at this place. And saying the YMCA is number 1, taking care of all the, all the incidental stuff, taking care of day-to-day and, locks and doors and making sure that these 2 guys who are the next ones in line here, have a little bit easier time. And then they can call me as a, I'm kind of like a substitute guy or like today, someone just to pull up one of the glass things so that Joe can supervise.
You know, and I think that that's really what we're talking about, Larry, that a lot of work is going on here.
These
Yeah,
guys know this
A
really like,
lot of work,
and she and her group,
yeah.
are really taking care of the day-to-day because there's no facility manager that's here, but that most places would have. And those are the things that you've been talking about is that, those are facility managers sort of things, who's a paid, mercenary or whatever,
Right.
And that's, I'm glad that whatever the situation that, has been set up with, through the town, through these guys, has benefited the YMCA, because without them, this would not be an easy chore.
No, this would be a ghost town.
I also know that Joy has done an awful lot also, but I just haven't seen her as much, and I know when she gets into the brick, then she'll.
I've tried to quit this committee a couple times. Joe wouldn't let me.
And we have good security too, Mark.
Mark, wake up. We just said something nice about you.
Thank you, Larry. I appreciate the security comment. Much appreciated.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
So, was there anybody else? Any other ideas? Any other things? Doug, anything we're forgetting?
No, we could just give a update. We still, we have both new boilers installed. The second one is, still needs to be set up. The courtyard doors have been ordered, but we haven't got a delivery date yet. We're getting the room across the hall repainted, that comes tomorrow morning. I just got an email earlier today. Last coat. We got the electrical finished over there today.
We might have to redo a little electrical.
But that's a different issue. I was talking about that room. Joe has gotten some quotes on the fascia on the outside of the building where we had an animal coming in, so we're looking at that. I don't think there's anything else right now. We're still thinking about how to paint that ceiling out there.
The other main thing is the hallway.
Yes, and you were going to talk to LaRocco's about floor cover.
Yeah, I did, and he's the one, I don't know if I talked to you, Joy, after that. Lavaco's yes. So he had told me that he's not overly crazy about linoleum, because he says they don't make it like they used to.
Yeah.
So we're still in what do we call
Tears really easily.
We're still in a quandary about what to do with that floor. And I think, I think it's livable short term.
Yeah, we need to get him to come in, or we can walk through the building and talk in a number of different places.
Well, he comes in, we have to find out the nights he plays ping pong.
Okay.
So, yeah, because those are the other things, where our priorities are and how much money we have, and, so like I said, we just did the two boilers.
Probably will be another month before we'll activate the cooling tower. Hopefully it works this year.
Yeah, because that's the other thing, sometimes it's, I'm not gonna say, well, I guess I would, stress is probably good, even though I'm under stress every minute of the day. But now, so we had our boiler situation that I didn't, I can't say we, but I never dreamt that was even close to our problem list. I thought, I got these good looking boilers, they look nice from the outside. What more what do you need, But, so they went kaput. Now, this thing out there, we've been fighting with that baby for, I don't know how many years. I think you guys were here right I think you guys were here before us, before Doug and I. I'm pretty
My
sure.
predecessor, but
Yes.
I've only been with this wife since 18.
Okay, so maybe that was, because I remember people telling us that there were days they didn't have any air conditioning and they couldn't do this and they couldn't do that, and they couldn't do this.
That's why they have those portable coolers in there.
Yeah. So we've tried to, and knock on wood, we've had our faults, but most of the time, we've been up and running and everything.
I know since I've been part of the committee, that thing's always been here.
Yeah.
So I can relate running facilities for myself.
So that's the one little thing, like you said, it's out in the back there. That's the one thing we worry about once we turn it on. Is it gonna work? Are there gonna be holes? Because there's all the different coils inside and they have little holes in them, and we have people in there with hoses and everything else trying to patch it anyway. Anything else?
You can learn how to patch that kind of stuff on Moonshiners on TV.
Little solid.
So I think we mentioned everything. Oh, the other thing which we don't notice, but the chief of police so wonderfully has got NIPSCO. I'm just wondering, Mark, and I'm not bugging you, but I'm just curious, have you gotten a report on our lights outside?
Yes, the fixtures are still on back order because of the shortage across the U.S. So the engineer still said they're out a couple of weeks. And then your security camera for out back is on order, should be in this week or next week. That's the one that points towards the dumpster. And then your dumpster sign has been installed next to the dumpster.
It's a beautiful sign, Mark.
It looks great.
You're welcome. Not a problem. Glad to help.
And then, while we're chatting about that, There's one of the, what do we call it? Our streetlights, you know, the decorative streetlights that are around the building.
Yes.
It's the one that's right on Oriole Trail, the closest one on Oriole Trail. If you can get Dolpher to get over there to maybe see if we need a new bulb.
Is it on the building, Joe, or away from the building?
It's those ones that have that colorful shade around them.
Okay,
You know what I'm talking about? They're not on the building, they're standalone.
okay.
And it's the one that's right on Oriole Trail, right as you pull into the parking lot.
I will email Tom right now.
Yeah, and you can see it, you know, at night. But yeah, no, thank you, and we thank you for your, you know, expeditious replies when we need something.
No, glad to help.
Anybody else? Kind of, not too bad, an hour and 10 minutes.
Good meeting.
All right, well, now we got to meet the newest entry, and I'm glad you're here.
Great to be here.
We just keep going.
It's nice to meet in person, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So much better, isn't it? Yeah.
Makes you almost feel human again.
Yeah.
Scattered around it, you know,
Yeah.
it's more than 6 feet.
Exactly.
And it's nice that you have your own table and everything.
That's really.
You feel more important.
but we don't like you that much.
Yeah. And Doug gets the big table because he's the big shot. All right. Okay.
Good to see everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Are we sure?